Hello and welcome to Training Tuesday, where we go through weekly tips and tricks to make your career just a little bit more awesome. This week we are talking about spaciousness, which is very near and dear to my heart, especially because this past week it was a really big theme for me. Now, in case you missed it, last weekend I really disconnected. I decided I wasn't going to respond to any work emails or anything having to do with work. I removed Facebook and Instagram so that I couldn't access them from my phone. And through the weekend, I realized how much I was mindlessly doing stuff, always kind of working, always feeling somewhat attached, like I had some sort of energetic debt to the people around me who I could be and should be responding to. And taking that time to fully focus on what I was doing in the moment was so rewarding, so fulfilling, and I felt so much more energized as I went into the week because I hadn't been constantly giving and pouring into everyone else's cup. I was able to take some time to really shut it down and disconnect. So we are talking about this week because it is not just an entrepreneur thing. I know it's challenging for me because I love my business and I work from home, and so those lines are tricky to really define. But this is something so many people face, is feeling like they're always working, they're always doing, they always kind of have something on their mind. And the challenge is, when you're feeling busy, when you feel like you have a lot on your plate, oftentimes are the times when people don't take the time to unwind, when they should the most, right? They say, I don't have time to go to the gym today. I don't have time to just eat lunch and not think about work for a minute. I don't have time to sit and rest and think of these through before I start doing them. And so you kind of just get in output mode and creation mode and pushing through the pain. And the problem with that is often there's diminishing returns, right? The work that you're doing gets worse over time because you're not spending the time to think about doing it right. You're just kind of doing it because it has to get done. And it's not that efficient. So if you've ever been stuck in that constant scroll, that constant hamster wheel thing, let me know, because I'm curious to hear if it resonates with you. Just on the scale of like 1 to 5, how much does this stick to you? How much do you feel like you've struggled to disconnect? And with that in mind, I wanted to share with you, right, the goal of everyone is to get a lot of great things done that are on your to-do list and feel like you have a whole, full life where you're not totally exhausted and running on empty all the time. And so my reminder to you this week is that sometimes the best thing you can do is actually carve out a little time to have a break, because it makes you more efficient in the long run, right? Those 30 minutes spent planning what you're gonna write versus just 4 hours of writing and rewriting whatever article that you're working on is time well spent. Same thing with that. I'm gonna go to the gym for an hour and be able to take a break, and then you can come back to the work if needed, right? I want you to always remember that it's probably still going to be there. And it also will help you to stop and say, what are my priorities? Is this actually really important? Because I know personally, I've fallen victim to that too, when you're in doing mode, and once you take a break, you come back and you can realize, like, I only have to do like actually half of the things that I thought were on my must-dos are actually really important for me to finish today. Right? So I wanted to remind you of that and give you a tip for this week. My tip for this week is I want you to take some time and write out what activities you want to incorporate more of to help yourself feel restored. So is it an exercise class that's a non-negotiable for you? Is it having a little dance break to kind of do between calls or before big meetings? Is it taking a long lunch to yourself where you just listen to your podcast or listen to nothing? Is it going on a long walk with someone who you really love catching up with, right? What are the ways that you can allow rest for yourself and create more spaciousness so that you can start to think things through and do them in a more proactive way, opposed to always being in reactor mode, right? So that is my challenge for you this week, to think about what those must-haves are for you, to write them out and then try and incorporate them more into your schedule. Because I would so much rather you be mindful with the time you do have at work, opposed to that always on, always creating. No, we want you to have focus sprints or allow yourself to be fully off, right? You don't have to be in this kind of hybrid, always working but never working kind of thing. It's not so good. So start with that. I highly encourage you, if you don't already do this, to have at least one day every weekend where you don't do any work, and you remove social media or any other apps that feel like they're draining from your phone, from your home screen, from your day, because I can tell you I will definitely be doing this again. It was so incredibly restorative and I loved it. So start with those tips. If you need larger help around some of the mindset and the pressures that are coming up for you around work and feeling like you have to do it all, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm happy to chat with you more about that. But start with those tips, and in the meantime, happy working.